Hello everybody, join me today. We're making some sauteed mushrooms with bacon for a delicious cheesy sandwich dinner. Oh yeah. Hello everybody, welcome into the kitchen yet again. I am being allowed to make dinner, so I figured what the heck, I might as well bring you guys with me in case you find it interesting or at least entertaining. So, what is it tonight, you ask? Well, tonight I am making something of a sauteed mushroom and bacon toasted sandwich. Sounds pretty basic, it is pretty basic, but the beauty of it is it still tastes amazing. So, come along, join the journey, and let's get cooking. Just some super basic ingredients here, obviously bacon and mushrooms. And then there are these fresh baked buns from the corner store. It smells so good when they bake those in there. And I've got some spaghetti that I'll explain in a minute here. But let's get started with that bacon first, because it's going to take a little bit longer than anything else. So now this step is fairly simple. I'm just going to use a trick I learned from Shocks, actually. Kind of roll my bacon up and cook it in the oven while I make use of our little tiny stove for something else. Now to keep that shape, I'm just going to plunge a piece of spaghetti through there. It's a neat little trick I learned from a friend quite recently. And there you go. That should be fine on the broiling pan. Once it's time to go, I'll do the rest of these and we'll get back to it. So with the bacon almost ready to go, I still seem to have one convenient piece left there. As an interesting side note, the deal with the pasta is it's going to get much softer and cook as the bacon does, and is a lot handier if you happen to bite into it than, say, toothpick. So yeah, we'll use that in a second. Just got to throw a little bit of seasoning on here, and then it's good to go into the toaster oven. Does it get more Canadian than maple on bacon? I don't think so. Alright, just going to drizzle a little bit of that on there. Okay, maybe more than a little. I guess I'm doing dishes next. And I recorded that, so no getting out of it now. Alright, maybe a little more bacon. Or a little more maple. Two are the most powerful words in the Canadian language. Maple and bacon. Anyway, moving on. Then I've got just a little bit of lemon pepper that I'm going to throw on there. Not much. Mostly this is about the maple. Alright. Into the pre-warmed toaster oven for you. And we'll check back on that in a little while. I think we'd all agree that a single piece of bacon is a sad state of affairs, so we're going to use that to start the pot we're going to be sauteing those mushrooms in. Well, now that that bacon is starting a nice satisfying sizzle, let's get started cutting up these mushrooms. Nothing precise. This is not a fancy kitchen. Nothing consistent either, apparently. Starting to get more excited by this meal as I go, as you can clearly see from my cutting skills. But anyway, now we know what happened to the mushrooms. Bacon's all nicely heated up, starting to release some fat in that pot for me. So I'm just going to toss in a little margarine, start sauteing those mushrooms into. See, what's great about this is the bacon kind of infuses it all, and then the mushrooms are going to pick up a little bit of that flavor with the seasonings that we put in here. Should be quite tasty, in theory. I wish you could smell this. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit of flavor to this now. I've got some ground mustard I'm putting in there. Now I should warn you, this is not a tried and tested thing. This is just sort of a, I'm throwing together dinner. I think it's going to be good. Here's some parsley that's going in there. And I'm bringing you along for the ride, because that's just the way I do things. And some black pepper, fresh ground, of course. Alright. Let that mix in for a minute or two. A minute, who am I kidding? Alright. Let's turn that up. I'm going to start putting some mushrooms in there. For the record, Mr. Bear wants a good quality Lugostino wok for Christmas. Just in case Santa's watching wondering what to eat. Putting that out there. Anyway, I'm going to cook these down for a while. Let them get all nice and soft while that painfully delicious smelling maple bacon gets its cook on. And then we'll get back to it. Okay, so I've still got a few minutes left to wait on those things to cook. I'm going to get started with these beautiful fresh buns. Oh, I think the one thing I may miss the most from the neighborhood is these fresh buns. Okay, I've got some kale from out in the greenhouse there. Gotta love it. And a little bit of marble cheese. Cheese, I love cheese. Cheese, maple, bacon, love. You know it's going to be a good meal when. Now let's start getting these ready for the oven, shall we? A little kale along the bottom. Always good, always popular around here. Or so I'm told, anyway. Not hearing the cheers that I heard for the bacon. We'll see. I'll eat that piece. No one will know. Okay, so before we can throw this in the toaster, we obviously need to put our little bacon wraps on there. And I like to play it fair and just, you know, one for one, one for one. And because that's pasta, not a toothpick, I don't have to bother pulling those out. So that kind of makes this nice and handy. That looks like a good start to me. Now, some mushrooms. So that was kind of the whole point of this, is I'm craving mushrooms. That's mushrooms on the floor. That'll be a happy dog. As long as he waits for them to cool down a little bit. He'll be fine. As you can see, plating is not my forte. I make foods that taste good. Making them look good is entirely new for me. A little bit of cheese on there. A little, who am I kidding? A pile of cheese on there. And then you know what? I don't think I get to put this in the toaster because I think putting that on a baking sheet is a precarious and dangerous idea. So I think we're just going to let the cheese melt on the heat from the bacon and the mushrooms. And that is that. And there you go. That is dinner. Pretty quick, pretty easy, incredibly tasty. And now for the bit that would be rude anywhere other than YouTube. Alright everybody, well, everybody knows I'm a babbler and I'd love to stick around to chat, but clearly, it's dinner time.